Hey you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the South. More specifically, Waynesville, North Carolina. I'm back in Waynesville. And I figured today I'd just show some things here in town. Again, I think I do still technically live here. I own a home here in Waynesville. So I figured I'd show a few things from my life here in Waynesville, North Carolina. And first off, we stopped here. I don't know what the new name is. They're turning this into a retirement home. But this building, originally this building was the hospital here in Haywood County in Waynesville. And they changed it over time. They moved the hospital to a different location, and they turned this into the Department of Social Services, also known as DSS. And this is where I got my first job out of college. I graduated Western Carolina University. That's over in Silva, maybe about 30 minutes from here. But that's where I got my first job. This is where I remember going and doing my first job interview here after graduating college. My ex-wife Christy, she had a job here doing social work, doing child protective services. She was a foster care caseworker at the time, meaning what that means is, when children come into the custody of the state of North Carolina, it would have been her job to kind of case manage the child, to make sure that they were in a good foster home, make sure all their needs were taken care of, as well as working with the child's parents in order to try to get that child back home with the parents, try to alleviate any issues that cause a child to come into the custody of North Carolina. So she had gotten that job. She had just finished college a semester before me and got that job. So I graduated. Graduating college was amazing. It was one of the first times in my life I felt like I really accomplished something that was difficult. And I came over here. I remember I wore my orange button-up shirt. I had a black and orange striped tie, and I came here to DSS. I had a degree in social work. I had with a concentration in child protective services, and I came here, did my interview, and they offered me the job. They actually offered me the job. They left the room. They interviewed me. They left the room for about 5-10 minutes and came in and offered me the job. And I was so excited because I didn't think that they would offer me the job right then and there. And yeah, I worked here. I'm trying to remember how long I worked in this building. The funny thing about this building, it was the old hospital, but it was falling apart. It was there was asbestos in the building, which I think might have been part of the reason they didn't use it as a hospital anymore. The building was crumbling. There was a lot of, I remember there was like a bathtub in my closet in my office because there were just old hospital rooms that had been turned into offices. Actually, there was one of these like bathroom closets that was just shoved full of old moldy suitcases that no one wanted, and they were cleaning out these offices. They were throwing stuff out of the offices, and then they were like, oh, I was like, no, don't throw away those old antique suitcases. I love those. And so I took like probably 3 or 4 of these antique old suitcases home, and then at one point when I started my YouTube channel, I would take the red one that I got from the closet here and paint my logo on it and use that in my intro. So the original red Carpetbagger suitcase came from a closet in this building. So my job here, when I worked here at the Haywood County Department of Social Services, I worked in investigations for child protective services, meaning it was my job to work to investigate cases of child neglect, child abuse, and child dependency. Dependency means there's just simply no one to take care of the child. And I would join the forensic the forensic investigation team. We learned to do forensic interviewing, which is a way of interviewing a child in a way that does not plant any ideas. Interviewing a child about abuse is a very fascinating thing, because you got to do it in a very delicate way, a very specific way that does not suggest things, does not give leading questions. You have to do it in a very calculated way. And that was one of the things I really loved about the job, was doing those interviews and doing it in a way that could give the child a chance to tell you the truth of what was going on, but at the same time you weren't aiming to get anything. You were just aiming to get the truth. And I really enjoyed doing CPS for the time that I did it. I felt like I helped children. I had some very serious abuse cases that I worked over the years. I don't mean to get really dark here, but there's a lot of child abuse. There is a lot of child abuse. More child abuse than you probably realize. Unless you actively work with child abuse, you probably don't realize how much child abuse is actually out there. This is a small town. This is a tiny little town in rural North Carolina. And every single day I got new cases of child abuse. So some pretty scary stuff. Did kind of change my perspective on humanity a little bit. I did become a little cynical. I did become a little jaded over time, and in some ways I use this channel, this YouTube channel, the Carpetbagger YouTube channel, as a way to kind of restore my faith in humanity, my faith in good things, and made this channel about the good things that I liked in life. I still liked my job. I still was proud of what I did, but the YouTube channel became a really strong outlet for inserting a little positivity into my life. Not everything was broken baby bones. You know, there could be fun things in the world as well. And yeah, so crazy things. I was up here, let me see I forget how many floors there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was up, oh that's right. I just remembered. I worked on the 5th floor up here, the very top. They called it the 3rd floor for some reason. I think it's like ground floor, like main floor. It's that like set up in a way that was confusing, but for whatever reason we were 3rd floor, technically the 5th floor if you take reality into account. So I was up there. My office was actually on the other side, so you could look out the back, but probably around right there on the other side is where my office is. Yeah, crazy times here. I could probably make a full-time YouTube channel about the adventures I went on, the crazy stories, the interesting people I met. Unfortunately, because of confidentiality, it would be wrong for me to do that. You know, I could talk about what I did in general terms, but I can't tell specific stories because it wouldn't be right. So if someone was out there that I worked with and I worked a case with them and they were to watch this video and they were to hear that their story being discussed publicly, that would be messed up. I can't do that. I can't do that to people. But yeah, so many wild stories, so many wild nights here at DSS. So this was the original building. They eventually moved us to another building on the other side of town. So I'm gonna go over there and visit that building as well. And here's where they moved our office to. This used to actually be the Walmart here in Waynesville. Actually, I think we're technically in the small town of Clyde, but this is where people in Waynesville went to Walmart until I think it was a small regular Walmart. They built a super Walmart on the other end of town, so they had this empty building and they turned it in to the DSS. You can see Haywood County Social Services and Health Department. They also lumped the health department in here with us. So actually, after we moved here to the second location, my job changed a little bit. I still did investigations of child abuse and child neglect, but I did the on-call position, meaning I worked from 4 o'clock in the evening until 8 o'clock the next morning. I wasn't necessarily working that entire time, not doing non-stop work. I could go to sleep if there was no more work to be had. I could go home and rest, but there was always the possibility that I could get a call and that something wild and crazy could happen. So I would get like phone calls in the middle of the night about child abuse. The hospital would call me a lot. 911 would call me. And I'll tell you what, that's an intimidating thing when 911 calls you, because they have an emergency that they want you to deal with. So yeah, if there was ever anything happened at night, if there was like an incident involving a child where the child was put in danger, they would call me, and I'd have to hop in my car and drive out to the scene and deal with it. And yeah, it's some wild stuff going on in my life, as I would be waiting all night to receive calls about child abuse, child neglect, and various other things. A lot of times you get DUIs right here next to Tennessee, so people would drive in to Tennessee or drive through our town, try to get to Tennessee. They get pulled over for DUIs, they get arrested, and then they'd call me because there was no family around to come get the child. So it would be my responsibility to go and get the child and try to figure out where the child goes. Going to the hospital. Hospital's over that way, but I end up going to the hospital all hours of the night. So it's really stressful stuff, because you're being woken up in the middle of the night and dealing with very intense situations. That probably put a little tax on my body, but I liked it. I liked the excitement. I liked just always having something interesting to do. It wasn't like necessarily a boring office job where you're just sitting in the office doing paperwork all day. There was a lot of paperwork to be done. Don't get me wrong. I would often come here and stay till 3, 4 in the morning, typing out paperwork, sending faxes in the middle of the night, trying to get everything arranged. So yeah, a lot of paperwork, but a lot of adventure as well. But this was actually kind of the genesis of my channel growing as well, because I had a very unique schedule. Like I said, I worked 4 in the evening to 8 in the morning, but in addition to that, I also had 7 days off in a row. I would work for 7 days straight, and then I'd have 7 days off. So working 7 days in a row straight, all night long, is stressful, but it's pretty nice having those 7 days off, where I could do things. And that's where I started to travel. I realized I could take a road trip in 7 days and be back and not miss a day of work. Or maybe even if I wanted to go on a longer road trip, I could take maybe a day or 2 off work and have like 9 days, 10 days to go explore the country. And that's really when my channel started to kick into full gear, because I had that time that I could use. Now, it was a lot of time away from home, because I was spending if I spent 7 days here, then went on a 7-day road trip, and then 7 days back, that's not a lot of time off, and it was a lot of time away from my family. So that part was stressful, but it really allowed me to grow my channel. And then here's the twist. Then at one point, you know, people in the office, it was never a secret, people in the office knew what I did. They knew that I traveled, they knew that I filmed videos on YouTube, but then at some point, someone found out that I was making money back, that I was making money off Patreon. Now, it was my understanding that here in America, when you have time off of work, when you're not at work, when you're not obligated to be at work, you're not obligated to be doing work, that is your time to do with what you wanted. And I was doing with what I wanted. And but they said you can't have another job without permission. So I said, well, can I have permission? And they said, yes, you can have permission. I signed a form saying that, you know, I forget, there might have been small things I had to agree to, but it was nothing major. And I kept on doing what I was doing. Kept on making videos in my time off, and then working all my time here. So that went on for a little while, and then some things started happening. And maybe I'll go into more detail about this in a future video, but I was the victim of harassment. There was certain people that were harassing me online, and they started calling my job. I don't know exactly what they were saying to my job. They were calling my job. They were sending things letters into my job, just trying to disrupt things, maybe trying to get me fired, trying to cause a problem. And then people here at the office were distressed by this, and they brought, these people are saying these things, you know, and I'm like, are these things true? Am I doing things that are true? Oh, they're like, no, you know, we can't say that any of this is true. We've not, you know, we've looked into it. We've not found that you're doing anything wrong. I said, are my videos in any way negatively impacting what I do here at work? No, they're not. But it got to a point where they said that they were tired of receiving angry letters. They're tired of being called about stuff. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. That really rubbed me the wrong way, because I felt like I was being a victim of harassment, a victim of stalking. And here at the Department of Social Services, they're supposed to support people who are being victimized. You know, we work a lot with people that are the victim of domestic violence, people that are the victim of stalking, and we try to help those people. We don't necessarily try to punish them for being stalked. But they said that they were sick. They were sick of hearing about it, and they decided they were going to revoke my contract that I signed that said that I could have a second job. And yeah, that was really upsetting. That was really upsetting. I'd worked on this YouTube channel for years at that time. Probably, let me see, how many years would that have been? That would have been at least 5 or 6 years of me working on this YouTube channel, growing it from the ground up. And then they were gonna poof it away in a single afternoon. The director that held we had actually lost our director. The director here at DSS had quit, and the health department director, a real stand-up champ of a guy, he took over. He took over, and he told me that that this was a waste of his time, that he felt that I needed to just stop doing it because he was tired of hearing about it, tired of it being an issue. And he told me, we're not gonna do it anymore. You're not gonna do it anymore. You're not gonna do your YouTube channel anymore. And I said, could I excuse myself for a moment? I called my wife at the time. I told her what was going on. I told her I was going to quit. And I went back. I told one of the supervisors that I had made the decision that I was going to put in my 2 weeks notice. I felt that was the right thing to do. I had put 10 years, almost 10 years to the day of work into this job. And I decided that I wanted to go out the right way. I wanted to put in my 2 weeks notice. And I didn't necessarily think, you know, I wasn't necessarily like, I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna do this as a full-time job, I'm gonna be able to support myself doing YouTube, because at that point, my YouTube channel was not bringing in enough to support me, to support my family. But I knew that I couldn't give it up. Maybe I was gonna go get another job, maybe I was gonna go work at a different agency, but I couldn't give up this YouTube channel that I had poured my guts into, poured my life into. I would have to get another job. But I spoke with Christy, my ex, and I asked her, well, what if I tried? What if I put all my time into this channel and just gave it a shot? This isn't a sure thing, but maybe could I just have a little time to see? And we discussed it, we agreed 3 months. Let's give it 3 months, put everything I have into this channel and see where it goes from there. And it worked. I don't know, I don't even know. It was the support. I went the very day, I was still wearing my button-up shirt, my blue and purple button-up shirt. I posted a video explaining that I was going to be trying to go full-time. I explained what happened, and the people that watched my videos came through in every way possible. I got so much support. I got additional contributors to my Patreon, where in a very short time I realized that I could do this, that I could do this channel full-time. And so, you know what? It's a struggle sometimes. It's a struggle not to be bitter. And being bitter is an awful thing to be. And I have spent time being bitter. But you know, this organization, they gave me my first job. They gave me my first shot right out of college. I had no experience. I had education but no experience, and they gave me my first shot to be a social worker and to work in this field. And I am thankful for that. I'll never not be thankful for that. And I don't agree with how it happened. I don't agree with how they told me that I had to delete my YouTube channel. I'll never agree with that treatment. I'll never agree with the fact that they didn't support me when I was being harassed. But at the same time, it's what you call a boll weevil. A boll weevil. Something that is negative, something that destroys things in your life, but also gives you an opportunity to create something new. Just a quick story here. The people of Enterprise, Alabama, the boll weevil destroyed their cotton crops, but because the cotton crops were destroyed, they planted peanuts, and the peanuts brought them to new heights of economic prosperity. And they erected a statue of the boll weevil to thank him for eating their crops and forcing them to grow peanuts. So this is a boll weevil to me. This is they made me, they forced my hand, they forced me to quit, and it ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I got to start doing this full time, and I finally got to be truly happy making these videos and doing what I love and traveling the country and meeting amazing people and seeing this. So at the same time, it was frustrating. It was frustrating having someone tell you that you had to give up on your dream, but I made the right decision, and I chose to stick with my dream. And I hope, if nothing else, you guys can take a little bit of inspiration from that, and don't let anyone tell you, you know, what they say, invest in yourself, believe in yourself, and stick with yourself. If you believe you have something special, don't let anyone else tell you that what you have isn't special. So, thank you. There's a little trip down memory lane here at Social Services in Haywood County. But since I got your eyeballs today, I did want to check on something. Maybe it's something a little less intense to talk about. A little update I wanted to do. During the pandemic, one of the first videos I did was I kind of just walked around town, just kind of showed what was going on in the town I lived in, and I came across this. This is the name is kind of interesting. It's the Little Cash W. Bear's Adventures Unique Bear Museum, and it was closed because of the pandemic, like many other things. And so what I decided to do was I made a promise. I'm like, I'm gonna come back and visit once it's open. Unfortunately, for some reason, it's been some time that I've just, even though I do live here in town, I've just not made a chance to come back and visit this museum. But I wanted to make a point today, while we're wandering around town, to stop in and finally find out what is going on in the Teddy Bear Museum. Okay, so here's some background up here. Apparently, the whole purpose of the museum here is to display teddy bears to help raise money to support cats. Not supporting bears necessarily, but supporting these cats that they take care of. And I do like cats. Look at these little guys. Yeah, we see some beanie babies here, and a little basket of cats. We got a big stuffed teddy bear right there. There's a shelf full of different beanie babies. Oh, there's like 2 of each. I don't know, maybe like a Noah's Ark-esque arrangement. There are 3 or 4 koalas and 3 ostriches, so I guess my momentary theory was not correct. Some different, there's some rats. Oh, there's all those mean little monkeys that'll bite you if you try to take them home as a pet. Oh, there is only one hippo there. So as I was filming the first part of the Teddy Bear Museum, the lady in the back said, "Oh, no, you can't do that." She said it was okay. She said, "It's okay, you filmed what you filmed already, that's okay," because that's just the front part of the museum. But she said the lady that owns the museum would be very, very angry if she found out that I had filmed in the other rooms, the military room or the main room. But I kind of give you an idea. It was just a lot of teddy bears, really. Just a collection of teddy bears spread out through the museum. I never really figured out the name, the Little Cash W. Bear's Adventure. That didn't really come into play, but it was a bear museum. So apparently, yeah, it's a collection of teddy bears that they used to raise money for cats. So a good cause and a museum full of teddy bears. So thank you for joining me here today in Waynesville, North Carolina, as we travel down memory lane in the days before this channel and the days that led to the creation of this channel. So we finally checked on that teddy bear museum that had been confusing me for a little while. So thank you so much. If you like this video, please subscribe. It'll let you know when new videos go live. I've been trying to do every day, but I will take days off here and there. If you'd like to support the channel, consider donating to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month from me. Also selling a brand new enamel pin in the Etsy shop. All that information is in the description of this video, and all of that helps keep this train on the track, this boat on the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.